Russia will do all it can to bring peace and stability to Libya, which has been engulfed by civil war for years. That announcement came as the chief of the Libyan National Army, which is opposed to Libya's internationally recognized government, visited Russia's foreign minister in Moscow.
Our role as peace brokers does not aim at finding a recipe, but at enabling the creation of the best conditions for dialogue between key Libyan figures to allow them to negotiate the future of their own country.
The result of our negotiations is very good. Russia is now thinking about what part it could play in bringing peace to Libya. We will be happy if Russia continues to play a part of this process.
Libya is currently governed by two main competing authorities. The UN-backed Government of National Accord has its headquarters in Libya's capital, Tripoli, and controls the western part of the country. And the Tobruk government, whose representative is in Moscow, and you've just seen, controls the east of Libya and sizable parts of the south. The political unity of the country was broken in 2011 following anti-government protests. Well, I'm happy to say that someone with a deep knowledge of the region joins us live now. Oliver Miles is a former UK ambassador to Libya. You're very welcome to the programme. I support some sort of action really has to preempt a breakthrough here, doesn't it? Is Lavrov's meeting with a senior representative of the Tobruk government's army, is that a significant step towards uniting Libya?
Well, it's not a new step. He's met him before, and he's made it very clear, as have other Russian spokesmen, that Russia is not backing Haftar against the other parties in Libya. Russia, as I think it was Lev Dengov, the head of the Russian contact team in Libya, said a few days ago, they don't want to be associated, Russia doesn't want to be associated with one party. They back the UN effort to bring all the parties together. And by the way, I think your introduction rather oversimplified the situation. Unfortunately, it's not the case that there are simply two main parties opposing each other in Libya. There are a lot. It's a very fragmented situation.
You were indeed UK ambassador to Libya. Can you point out perhaps what specific circumstances in the country made peace so difficult to attain?
Yes, I was ambassador a long time ago, in Gaddafi's time, of course. I think the answer to your question is that Gaddafi had systematically destroyed, liquidated all institutions in Libya. There were no institutions at all. There was no civil society, there was no parliament, of course, political parties or anything like that. And the Libyans have found it very difficult to put that together since the revolution when they overthrew Gaddafi in 2011.
Do you expect the Tripoli-based government to join in the peace negotiations? There have been utterances throughout the year that they will do this, but when it comes to the crunch, will they?
Yes, I think so. The terms have to be negotiated between the various parties, of course, and I'm not going to say that I back one against the other, but the answer to your question is yes. When, for example, President Macron of France had a meeting the other day, he had Haftar from Tobruk and he had Sarraj from Tripoli, and they, at least in words, agreed with each other.
Libya has already seen attempts to create a united government. For example, the UN back in 2015. A lot was put into that. Why did that fail?
Simply because there are too many people in Libya who have some power at the moment. They have weapons. They're probably afraid of what will happen if they give up the weapons. They know that they might be called to account for crimes perhaps that they've committed, or even not, if not crimes, then they might be called to account by their enemies. I think that's the bottom line, and the difficulty is to bring all these groups together and convince them that they have to work together, because otherwise Libya is going to go down the drain. Libya is a rich country in terms of oil and therefore of money, but at the moment you wouldn't think it was a rich country. At the moment everybody is living hand to mouth.
Oliver Miles, former UK ambassador to Libya, thank you so much for coming on the programme and sharing your thoughts this hour.